So, hello everyone and hi Professor. My name is Sang Yating Arim Prisil. I'm a second grade of labor relations students in National Chongqing University. So today I want to talk about Taiwan's foreign workers. So here are my table of contents, which is first I have introduction, second I have advantage and disadvantage, third I have the law of foreign workers, and of course it's a Taiwan law for foreign workers, and fourth I have conclusion. So let's move to the first one, introduction. First, I want to talk what is foreign workers. So foreign workers is talk about who work in a foreign country without initially intending to settle there and without the benefit of citizenship in the host country. And also, some are required to supplement the workforce of a host country for a limited term or to provide skills on a contractual basis that the host country seeks. And despite raising demand, the number of migrant workers in Taiwan has fallen from 718,085 at the end of 2019 to 669,992 at the end of 2021. And also due to the COVID-19 restrictions that have limited the ability of migrant workers to enter Taiwan. So as we know, the pandemic COVID-19 is become one of the reasons why the migrant workers is hard to enter Taiwan. Because of COVID-19 pandemic, the local government, or maybe I can say the Taiwan government, set up a lot of new regulation to enter Taiwan before. And then before, Taiwan also in a lockdown situation. That means that the migrant workers can't enter Taiwan at all. And then of those, 443,104 were employed in industrial sectors such as manufacturing and construction, and 226,888 were employed in the social welfare field such as caregiving according to the MOL figures. And here are some countries with the most foreign workers in Taiwan. So first I have Indonesia with 235,004 workers and 4 workers by end of April 2022. And then in the second place we have Vietnam with 226,312 workers by end of April 2022. And then in the third place we have Philippines with 141,328 workers by end of April 2022. And all of this data, I got it from the Ministry of Labor Republic of China website. So if you guys want to know more about foreign workers data in Taiwan, you guys can also check the website, the online website of Ministry of Labor Republic of China or Taiwan. So let's move to our second one, which is it will talk about the advantages and disadvantages of foreign workers. And first, let's talk about the advantage first. Why the foreign worker is needed in Taiwan? Because foreign worker can helping sustain the growth of Taiwan economy. Because as we know, foreign workers are required to keep the economy keep going. They may be needed to fill possible skills and knowledge gaps in the economy or take on job roles that are experiencing labor shortage. And then second, foreign workers have a lower wage. As we know, foreign workers' salary is lower than the local workers' salary. So it is also one of the reasons why the workers is needed in Taiwan. Because the company will hire someone with the lower salary than someone with the high salary. I think it's a common things that happen. So because of the foreign workers' salary is lower than the local workers' salary, that's one of the reasons why a lot of companies still choose to use the foreign workers. And then third, we have the filling skill gap, which is fulfilling existing contracts and taking on more work through new skill and talent is needed. And then four is increased productivity. As we know, if the company hire foreign workers, it means that they have more people or more employee in their production section. If the production section have a lot of people, it can increase the production. If the production is increased, it also means that it can increase the productivity of that company. And then 5, we have flexibility with the job profile. Why? Because generally, foreign workers will be comfortable to take up challenging job profiles. They would also be flexible to work from any location or varying shifting timings, which means they're okay to flexible work around Taiwan. Like they can work from Tainan to a Taichung or Taichung to a Taipei. It's different with the local employees because local employees would not be adaptable to such as demands. Also, the local employees will ask for more benefits will ask more benefit than the foreign workers. But foreign workers also have the disadvantages. First is the local entity registration. Talk about hiring international employees, it can be two types. So the first type is hiring an employee from outside the country to report at your head office in a person. And then this involves the relocation packages and settlement assistance, which may incur a noticeable height in the requirement or employability cost allotted by your company. So you need to pay for that foreign worker to come to your company. For the example is when you wanna hire the foreign workers from other country like Vietnam, you need to pay their flights ticket. You need to fly. You need to think about where will be they live, where will be they stay. So you need to pay all of it. So it will become one of the things that you need to think twice before you hire a foreign workers. And let's move to the second type, which is the second type is the employees work remotely from their home country. And then the second type is most of company will more prefer the second type because this apply is most recent trend created by the pandemic. And in a recent survey conducted by one of the job portals, they said that they identified that 65% of respondents want to work as a remote employees post when in a post pandemic, and while 31% opted for a hybrid remote work environment. This make a cumulative score of 96% workforce considering remote working environment over the legacy practicing due to the flexibility it offers. And however, hiring a remote employee from a different country demands to the company to hiring a remote employee from a different country demands the company to register a local entity in that particular country, and then the company encounter potential limitations while attempting to remain compliant with the federal and state law of each country. And then second, we have the global pay scales problem, which is, as we know, every country may have a different pay scale for any job role, and if your international employees are working remotely, it is essential to pay them per the local standard in their own currency. And as we know, not every country salary is lower than Taiwan. There's still some country with a bigger salary than Taiwan. So if you hire foreign workers, even though it's working remotely or working directly in your company, sometimes they will ask at least the same salary with their country salary if the salary is bigger than Taiwan, or at least they want to get a bigger salary than their country. So if you hire the foreign workers from the country with the bigger salary than Taiwan, it will be a problem. And then third, we have the managing foreign workers and contractors. So depending on the growth and economy of the company, it is a wise move to hire both contractors and employees. This will direct the company's momentum towards international exposure. However, the task of managing the varying employment benefit for both contractors and full-time employees from different countries could be tedious. And then move to the fourth one. If we hired a foreign worker, it can be make us have a lack of communication with them, because as we know, not every workers, especially foreign workers, can speak Mandarin. When they come to Taiwan, some are foreign workers still can't speak Mandarin, or maybe some of them also can't speak English. So they only can speak their country language, and which is it can cause the lack of communication. Because when you are working with someone, you need communication with the people. You need to tell the people how to do that job. So the disadvantage of foreign workers, as the one of the disadvantage of foreign workers, is it can cause a lack of communication. And then the fifth one is lack of commitment and integrity, because it is relatively easy to find an international employee who fits a company requirement, but however, the company might have to train them the company have to train them complete with the company practice and get them accustomed to other process-based requirement. So it's mean like when international or foreign workers come to your company, it's impossible for you as just let them work by their own way. So you will possibly give a training. No, I mean, it seems like I think every company will give a training first, so that the new employee from the foreign country, so they can work with the same way with the others, with the other workers in Taiwan, or at least they can work in a standard that the company give. And when you are trained a workers, it will use a lot of money, but you can guarantee that the person that you train would work for you for a long time. Because if a local workers don't want to work, they still think what will they do next. But if a foreign workers don't want to work, it's possible for them to think to back to their country. And I also got some experience about foreign workers that just come to Taiwan and have already trained by their company, but they don't care about it. They still want to back to their country, because they feel that they feel like don't have a good situation in that company, so they just want to directly back to their country. I know if they're back to their country, there will be a penalty for them, but yeah, they just pay that penalty to the company, so nothing will be happen. The foreign worker already got the skills, and they just need to pay about that money, and they can back to their country. But how about the company? As we know that training is not only about money, but also wasting time. And it's hard for you to find a new person, and then you still need time for training them. So hiring of foreign workers can be something that bad if we have a lack of commitment and integrity with them. So let's move to our third one, is foreign workers law. Of course, in here we will talk about the Taiwan's law that exists for foreign workers. So we have 7 management of foreign workers, which is I got it from the Workforce Development website, Workforce Development Agency, Ministry of Labor website. So first they said that sign the affidavit of working expenses and wage affidavit and labor contract before the foreigner enters the country. So before the foreign workers want to enter the Taiwan, they have to have a labor contract first, because a labor contract should be signed in order to stipulate the rights and obligations such as salary and working hours. And if the labor contract is changed in the future, it should not be contrast to the salary affidavit and should not be unfavorable to foreign labor. So actually the labor contract is also to keep the rights of the foreign workers. And as I know, the labor contract for foreign worker is for 3 years when they come to Taiwan. So they should work for 3 years, and then after that they can back to their country, or they can continue to work in Taiwan for two more years or maybe 3 more years. It depends on them. So I got this information because before I have worked in a foreign worker brokerage firms company, and I have read about some data about it. And then second, salary should be fully and directly paid. So accepted for the expenses that foreign laborers should pay according to the existing provisions stipulate to be deducted from the wage directly. Employer should fully and directly pay the salary to foreign laborers without assisting an intermediary company to collect brokerage fee and foreign loans. So the salary of the foreign worker should be fully and directly paid. The company can collect any fee from the foreign workers, especially for the brokerage fee. So third is the smooth consultation and complaint channels. So as we know that Taiwan government give 3 ways for the foreign workers to have a consultation or complaint to the government if they got any problem. So first, they have the care service measure for airport entry and exit. So set up foreign labor care services stations at Taoyuan and Kaohsiung international airports to guide the custom clearance for foreign workers, and also provide them the legal guidance and send important advocacy information of bilingual, the handbook for foreign workers in Taiwan, as well as handle foreign workers complaints and counseling service. And then second, they have 1955 labor consultant line, which is it provide for 24 hours year-round bilingual and free of charge consultation and appeal service for foreign laborers, and after accepting an appeal case, dispatch such as to the local government to investigate and deal with follow-up management. So in the second way, the government is give access to the foreign workers to call 1955 labor consultant line when they got abused or when they got something bad from that company, so they can directly tell the government what is happened, and the government will help them as soon as possible. And then third, the government also provide a local government foreign labor advisory service center. So in here, local government should set up foreign labor advisory service center with bilingual counselors so as to provide advice, handle complaints and labor disputes, and other service. So the fourth one is inspection for illegal work and life management. So the existing law and regulation stipulates employers should inform the local government 3 days after foreign worker enter the country in order to arrange visit to their life care situation. And then local government should set up a foreign worker visitor to visit employers and foreign workers, and also request to the employer to respect the foreign workers' food autonomy, as well as pay attention to accommodation privacy and gender awareness. So in this fourth point, the company or the employer should pay attention to the workers' food and also accommodation privacy. So they can't just let the workers eat anything that they want, because sometimes they need to respect about the foreign worker food autonomy, because as we know, not every foreign workers can eat the same as the Taiwanese. For the example, some Indonesian foreign workers can eat pork because of the religion. So in here, the government is told the employer to respect their food autonomy, as well as pay attention to their accommodation privacy and gender awareness. And then 5 is verification mechanism for early termination of the employment relationship. So if the employer and the foreign worker plan to terminate the employment relationship in advance, the local government should explore and verify the foreign worker's willingness in truth to cancel the employment relationship before they depart the country, in order to avoid the repatriation made by employer or the intermediary. So move to the sixth one. Conversion of employers is quite free. So in order to safeguard the rights and interests of foreign workers, as well as to establish the employment of employers, and to take into account the employment rights and interests, our country, it's mean that Taiwan adopts the principle of prohibition, but accepting exemption measure to disclose the transfer information transparently in the internet. Moreover, employers of foreign family care workers and foreign workers who are willing to transfer out can immediately apply for a new foreign care workers, so as to enhance employers and foreign worker willingness to transfer. And then last but not least, the seventh one, advocacy and active through media. As we know, total of 13 foreign language and Mandarin radio programs are available to relieve the homesick feelings of the foreign worker. Moreover, local governments are subsidies for organizing activities of festival and culture exchange, such as a Thailand Water Festival and Indonesian Culture Festival, because as Indonesian, I have been attended to Indonesian Culture Festival in Taiwan, in a Kukong. So last year, if I'm not wrong, they hold Indonesian Culture Festival, and then in that place there are so many foreign workers come to that place to relieve the homesick feeling. So the government also delivery of published laws and regulation advocacy and promotion to each relevant unit to strengthen publicity. So move to the basic salary. So Taiwanese employers must pay at least basic monthly salary, currently 13,350 NTDs or 515 US dollar, and also they also need to pay a deposit of 26,000 NTD, which is that is refunded after the foreign workers live in 2 years, and pay a monthly employment stabilization fee, which is it's mean that the fee is to protect the interests of Taiwanese workers in manufacturing. Also, this fee is currently as 1,300 per month, and also employers must enroll foreign workers in the labor insurance and health insurance programs. So let's move to the age of coming to Taiwan and limit of working years. So if the foreign workers want to come Taiwan, they at least must be older than 16 years old, and if can, they should be on 20 years old. Why? Because in Taiwan the legal age is 20. So when you are 20, you don't need fatting time. You don't need other people to help you for a sign, or you don't need your parents help you to sign any documents. So you can sign your own document. And then move to the limit of working year. So based on Article 52 of the Employment Service Act, foreign workers are allowed to work in Taiwan for a period of not more than 12 accumulated years. But actually, for some special cases, like for the foreign workers that working for take care or nurturing, they can request until maximum 14 years to work in Taiwan. But it's also have a special requirement, like they have to got a special training or get a self-learn or certificate that can prove that they have a skills in nurturing. And then there are some kind of job for foreign workers in Taiwan. First, they can have the family nursing job, construction job, manufacturing job, household service job, oceanic fishing job, and then institutional nursing job. But as we know, the job that is have a lot of foreign workers is in a family nursing job and in manufacturing job. And then we move to our last part, which is its conclusion. So here are some conclusion that I got. The first is reason why the foreign workers keep coming to Taiwan, because salary in Taiwan is bigger than their country. As we know that before I talked that there are 3 countries that have the most foreign workers in Taiwan, which is Indonesia, Vietnam, and Philippines. So that 3 country salary is lower than Taiwan. So because the salary is lower than Taiwan, the foreign workers wants to come to Taiwan for get a bigger salary so they can get a more social welfare. So it's one of the reasons why they want to come to Taiwan. And then the second one is because Taiwan population is decreasing, but the demand of young generation is needed or increased a day by day. So the foreign worker is needed. And then the third one, because there are a lot of Taiwan's laws to protect foreign workers, and that all of that law can guarantee the security of workers. So it's also become one of the reasons why the foreign workers want to work in Taiwan. So I think my presentation is until here. Thank you for hearing, and then bye bye.